Okay, and we're just going to go ahead and start taking a couple of breaths coming in. And as we work with the breath, just allow the immersion of higher love, higher bliss just to circulate all around you. And I want you to notice the interaction with the higher light as it connects into the body, into the energy system. And we're going to just become very aware of any tension as that higher light comes in. So this tension will be triggered when we come into awareness of the higher light and feeling the higher light bliss through the body. And sometimes this can feel like a space of nothingness. Sometimes we can't actually feel the bliss. But it is really our God-given right to actually feel and embody a bliss-charged love frequency. Okay, we're going to go ahead and intercept that with the pain body. That is resistant to processing the information held within itself. And just surrendering to the connection of frequencies. So we just want to kind of take note of what it feels like as we've got these two opposing frequencies presenting, how it can feel like some areas of the energy system can feel more caged, whereas some can feel more expanded and enjoyable. And some can just feel completely locked out, completely tight, like a void of nothing, which is showing us where the unconscious information is being held. So the unconscious memory is being held. And what we're doing here is developing the clairsentient abilities, we're developing the navigation of feeling as we go through to process our own energy system. And we're going to just see how the effect on the brain waves, so the state of how deep you can go into meditation when we bring up these two functions, these two opposing forces. and just allowing it to work itself out just by observing both sides of the polarity. And aiding to process the emotions held within the pain. And we do this basically to start clearing the emotional body to make way to unlock the blockages, to unravel the blockages, to start incorporating more of the higher light, which then raises the frequency, but it also raises the awareness to look at the memories within the blockages or within the painful polarity or the negative polarity. And immediately, we've got so much exhaustion coming up here and sleepiness coming up here. And at the same time, what we've also got a presentation of is a kind of, I want to say, a kind of battle between dragons and a kind of iron guard, an iron core guard. And this would be the kind of presentation of the Solar Dragon Kings kind of attempting to return and overthrow. Well, it's not really an overthrowing because us as light workers down here have done a lot of work to um, heal and transform the iron core structures, which are that of fear-based propagation, fear-based realities. And the solar dragons would be those of a Christic love, light, consciousness returning to take their throne. So as we've got this image of the solar dragon, this one is actually coming in as a violet solar dragon to me. And the iron guard, let's say, that's kind of fighting against it is also coming in violet. This says to me that there is issues held within the seventh dimensional field going on here. So the violet ray. And as we surrender deeper into the storyline, the violet ray spectrum begins to open. Mass amounts of fear unlocking through the violet spectrum, layers of insecurity, layers of kind of distrust in self, distrust in the ability to kind of process and understand. So this feels like it's woven into layers of reversal systems through the crown. A kind of maybe like a kind of technology. It also to me feels like a kind of clash of faith. And then this trickles down, playing out as a kind of um, loss of sense of self, a loss of one's own truth and own guidance. Okay, starting to feel all of this left side chest unlock, all down the left side neck, through the sternum, through the heart, and the third eye beginning to unlock there. It's almost as if not knowing which way to kind of turn or how to proceed forwards, feeling very disconnected from one's own guidance structure. Okay. So what would happen if we were to bring in the faith here? Let's explore that. Let's work with your intention to bring in the energy of faith or the frequency of divine faith. And what does that look like as we kind of break it down? Well, there's trust builds into faith. There is a deep, unconditional knowing as to where things go, where you are going, and what's going on in the world right now. So, really, what we're looking here at is another layer of the planetary field as well, with the third dimensional kind of presentations of chaos and warfare, battles, the disturbance of or the fear of the unknown, not knowing exactly where people are going or where we are as a race going. And as we sit within this unknowing, we're just going to completely surrender to allow all of the stagnation, all of the distrust, all of the lack of guardianship, just to work its way through the chakra system, knowing you in your truth. You wouldn't be sat here today doing your meditation if you didn't have a scrapings of faith within you. And we're going to amplify that through this collective field, through the seventh ray of light. And we're just going to interlock this through the Albion ley line. We're going to take this up the vertical Albion and down with the presentation of the solar dragons, the 12 to 30, well, the 12 solar dragons, there is a 13th as well, but the 12 solar dragons coming in here. I just need to check a name for something here. Okay, well, I'm getting a connection to Mount Sinai, and this is in Egypt there. I think it's in Egypt. The peninsula of Egypt. There we are. Okay. Moyo Guridiana Yia. And just surrendering to the process here, following over to Mount Sinai. Sinai. I don't know how to pronounce it. And as we are observing, a green emerald vortex begins to open here. Okay, brilliant. Green emerald vortex opens. We've got a pillar of emerald light, more like an emerald green vortex, really. Emerald pillar of light. 12 solar dragons immerse, or I believe there's 12 solar dragons there, but one is immersing through the light. Okay, and connects to the land mass as a holographic projection through this pillar. So surrounding the dragon, we've got a stream of coding that's appearing as a disc rotating clockwise and another one underneath it rotating counterclockwise. And this is then running down into the Earth core, but updating through the landmass. And what I'm seeing are tribes of people, groups of people beginning to il awaken, illuminate, and the eyes start glowing solar gold. Okay, doya kiana kia kiana kia krajana moro poro yasa akura doya na akia krajana iyan. I need to take my jumper off. It's very, very hot right now. Within the landmass, I'm then seeing a connection of emerald light immersing and vibrating through the land, which is creating almost like an emerald crystal city appear before me, appear before the landmass of Mount Sinai. And find yourselves just projecting in to the city. And within the city, there are multiple layers of artifacts. There are kind of key codes presented and vibrating through the crystalline emerald architecture, projecting through your own light field. And upon the imagery of this, the presentation of the crown of thorns appearing around the head, and then Yeshua Christ stepping forward with the crown of thorns on. And the absolvation, is that even a word? Absolvation of pain and suffering taken through the image, the holographic presentation of Christ with the crown of thorns on his head. As thick layers of sin, pain, suffering moving out of your own energy system and into the the I want to say like the kind of conduit, but it's a conduit that transmutes the suffering, the sin, the trauma that we burden ourselves with by not processing it and looking through it and understanding it to resolve our own issues, even though that's kind of what we're doing here anyway. This is then taking what is no longer serving you and moving it through the gate transfers into completion. And as that transient pattern happens, the transference of emerald and gold code moves into the light body and updates the architectural structure of your light. Rebuilding channels, reconnecting emerald heart, emerald crystal heart fragments, building back together. And as we watch the process of this, the building of the DNA template beyond the 12 through the 24 to 48 illuminates and opens, and the fractals of geometric coding and structure begins to build into the 24 to 48 template. Awakening fire letter sequencing. And then another kind of image opens here, or another holographic world opens here, which is linking into the particum higher heaven, what would be known as a primal light and sound field that is running in tandem to our particle-based universe. So this is the particle, so our universe, not the parallel universe, synchronizing up through the cosmic clock and through the Vecca quadrant. So 4 trees of life that have intercepted with each other at the 12 point and the 1 point, building into the clock face that is a Templar. And this begins to circulate emerald waveform scalar waves up, down, left and right, vertical axes, horizontal axes, interception through the Templar. Back into this city, which begins to awaken a double diamond sun overlay to the Emerald City. So it goes a diamond sun, a double diamond sun, and that overlays into the Emerald City, which looks a little bit like Stonehenge, to be honest, but it's kind of not Stonehenge. Inhale, exhale. The pillar, the vertical pillar, grows bigger, stronger, wider, then with the presentation of opalescent Eleza sun. So Divine Mother Eleza sun of our cosmic universe, who is a pearlescent presentation that looks a little bit like Tara, goddess Tara. Interlinking through the diamond sun, the double diamond sun, the Emerald City, which is opening up into the higher God worlds and expanding the I can't even say this word, the Amore, the Amorea, the Amorea, sorry, there we go. Got there in the end. Amorea shield. Building as sound tones, primal sound tones from the Amorea shield in the cosmic God worlds, in the higher God worlds. This then reverberates down into one's own personal tree of life. Amethyst higher heaven kingdoms open, and pure golden streams of light begin to pour from the amethyst crystal light heavens down through the energy system, through the crowns, and intercept to the earth. Synchronizing again through the earth body into the earth, and then they begin to circulate back up into the cosmic clock location, and then to the right side and the north of the clock. So the right horizontal north upper part of the quadrant, or the upper part of the quadrant tree. This then begins to circulate through the horizontal, vertical parallel antiparticle worlds, so the partika, higher heavens, and the parallel Earth, parallel universe, farther arc continuum. I'm just going to surrender to this imagery, and as the um, amethyst crystal tones build, I'm then seeing a blue sapphire crystalline light crystal structure building through the backgrounds of the parallel Earth, parallel universe, and antiparticle higher heaven. And through the building of this, we've got gong chimes sounding. Building Rasha ring sound tones. And this seems to be a kind of birth point between the mother arc and the father arc, the interception of the two hierogamic counterparts. The sound tones begin to kind of correlate with one another, and I can't pretend to make the sound tones because I don't think I can do it justice. And I also think it's relative to your own personal experience within this meditation. Surrendering and just observing as we watch the frequencies kind of, or the sound tones interact with one another and what it does to the physical form. I actually feel here it's going to be very, very, very kind of unique to the person listening because everybody's kind of got their own degrees of trauma, their own degrees of kind of issues that they're having to work through. And as this is kind of circulating in, it's highlighting the areas of the masculine feminine distortion, and where one is rapidly trying to reorder itself to the sound tone orientation, which reorders the whole structure. What I'm kind of picking up within this is that the masculine is kind of taking a step outwards to one side, which may it have been quite dominant before, and the feminine coming in to be felt and be understood within that process. Again, that's kind of my own truth within that. And it can be vice versa. There can be a little bit of a kind of internal resistance going on there as well, which is perfectly acceptable, perfectly normal. The key is just to come into observation. And aligning the mother aspect, the mother love, mother aspect down into the format, into the structure. Going through grand purge of behaviors, past behaviors, to come into realization that you are no longer this person that you were before. And this can go in like a multitude of different layers. It can go into like kind of skewed, distorted belief systems. It can go into the shadow complex, which we all have. It is going into that, to be honest. And with the awareness of light coming in, bringing up the memories, bringing up the thought forms, the behavioral patterns, we then sit with the choice point. Do we want to continue? Do we want to carry on? Or are we going to take responsibility and ownership for ourselves and realize, no, I'm not playing this game anymore? Multi layers of geometry restructuring, multiple universes, I would say, or multiverses within our, I don't really know how to kind of define this, but the layers of our universal structure is restructuring itself as well. So it's like a syncing up of the higher God worlds down into the lower body, to gain access and allow the frequencies and the channels of these higher heavens, these higher God worlds, to come back into alignment and build through your own tree of life. Building the diamond stairway to heaven, which takes us back to our point of origin, to the field of one. Let's go ahead and inhale, exhale here. We're going to update through all fields. update through all localized grids. Just seal and close out your energy fields. Seal and well, we've been to the Mount Sinai Emerald Crystal City. Just going to start pulling the essence back from these locations where it's been very, very, very potent. With coding and restructuring. And what I would say is drink plenty of water this evening or this morning, whenever you're watching this, as the update has been quite significant there. And let's inhale, exhale, recode, release, and seal. Thank you so much for joining today. Bye.